Commentators and Players of Hall of Fame, JB.
Ricardo on call.
We are here in the office of Indian Hill with the head boys basketball coach, Ricardo Hill. Tell them how you doing, Ricardo.
Well, man, I appreciate you guys coming up, giving us some love. Got a long history.
Yeah.
But we just trying to, come up here and elevate the basketball program and make an impact on the kids' lives as we've done in the past.
Well, Coach, I know I've been following you since I've been a little tyke. Actually, let everybody know since I've been like 4 years old. Yes, he is from Exit 5. And
Sir.
You've had a great career. A lot of people don't know about who Ricardo Hill is, but let me first by saying, great man, on and off the court, great community activist, and now that you're in Indian Hill, what can you give to the people out here in Indian Hill past basketball?
Yeah, and I appreciate that. We got a big time history from growing up in E-Town. Had some great memories, and I'm still, I'll never leave the hood. So I'm constantly doing something for the community. But out here, I think what I can bring out here is just teaching them how to never give up, that to keep fighting through adversity, and it's a different level of adversity. So where we come from, adversity is a little bit different than the adversity they may have out here, but it's still adversity. Everyone goes through some type of adversity, and to teach kids, that's one of the toughest things to do. Is me as a parent, and I know I sheltered my boys. I didn't want them to go through everything I went through, so I kind of sheltered them. So I don't want them to struggle at all. So daddy there to save them, or mommy's gonna save them, and it's like that everywhere. So whatever type of adversity you're going through is to teaching those kids and never give up. It's always something that you can achieve without the help of someone else.
Well, here at Reality Sports, we cut no shorts, and I have to come and ask you, Coach Hill, being a long advocate of your career and basically following you in your footsteps on the baseball field, because if you didn't know, I was a baseball player. But with basketball, we both played for 4 men. You played for 4 men and set the foundation for us to come up and play with it, along with some great other basketball players, with Steve Gentry, Castleberry, and Sip, and them being some of the guys. But a lot of people don't know you were one of the first from the Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education, to break that mold of one of the star basketball players to come up, and then from there you went to Western Kentucky at Ashland. Tell people about it.
Yeah, the man, I always give the flowers to those 4 men coaches, Coach Burt, Coach Keith, Coach Eric, Coach Ed. When we had them, man, they really taught us how to win when we were young. And then with your pops and Mr. Hall and baseball, I always give everybody their flowers when I see them, because they instilled that winning spirit in my soul. And that's one thing that I deliver to the kids that I coach. Tim Clark, the same way. Watching him do it with in baseball. Just going through all of that. So I played at Cape and played baseball there, and I love baseball, but I just love basketball more. Baseball was always a little bit easier for me. And even when I went to Western Kentucky, I was there for baseball and basketball, and I just love the game of basketball for whatever reason. I think it was more of a challenge for me, where I was always small, and people gonna tell you can't do this, you can't play D1, you can't do this, and that's just how I am. I like challenges. So I think that was one of the reasons why I just fell in love with the game of basketball, because baseball was so easy for me. But yeah, I played at Western Kentucky, then went to Ashland, became an All-American point guard there, and I just love giving back to the community at this point.
Okay, so I gotta ask, being a coach for as many years as you've been,
like being a second dad. But yeah, it was dad, role model. It was everything. Whereas out here, you don't have to necessarily be considered a dad, but it's more of teaching life experiences. So yeah, it's a huge difference. But you get the same satisfaction of helping
Right.
kids.
You see the look on their face, the attitude.
Yeah, and you know when we have as a coach, like one of the biggest thrills for me is seeing these guys come up and become in. So a couple weeks ago, one of my former players, who's actually he's down in the gym right now, he's coaching at JV. He's the head coach of JV, him and my son. But to see him, he went to Walnut. Carlitos Anderson went to Walnut, and he's been coaching with me for several years. He's a head JV coach here. And then 2 weeks ago, to see him get married,
Yes.
you know, and like that's the satisfaction. I was at the UC game the other day, and I ran into one of my former players, and he lives in New York. And just see him at the game. So it's to see them guys become men and working and establishing families. Like that's what it's all about.
Well, I'm gonna ride a little coattail a little bit, coach. And you said, you know, they counted you out, didn't think you could do this, didn't think you could do that. So, where does that passion come from to have you coach? Because I know when I came back up and I came back home from playing baseball or whatever, and I happened to hear about, you know, Coach Hill, Ricardo, I said, man, that's family whatsoever. But he has this AAU team, you know, called the Lakers. And you built a program that had some great players that then went on to do exceptional things. Where does that passion come from, Coach?
So I think it came from like my coaches when I was a little kid. Like I'm telling you, man, your pops, Mr. Hall in baseball, like them dudes, for them to make sure that we won. Like we would go to the games and we would have different color uniforms. Like and we playing team. We had 3 bats. Like our whole team got 3 bats. We playing against teams that everybody on their team got a bat, they own helmet, and we come up and mismatch uniforms. They hand me down uniforms, and then them dudes still taught us how to win. Like regardless of what your situation is, we gonna go out here and win. And they really taught us the game, and we won. We were some ballers, man. and you know, to look back when I see our former teammates, like it's just cool. But they instilled that passion into me from a little kid. And again, I will never ever to the day I die stop giving them their flowers.
High praise, Coach, but I know personally that you haven't been with a whole lot of players, and I also got to put you on the spot again. Because you said something like Carlito, your son playing you. I know you had big Isaiah over there at one of Hills. You had Tyler McKinney when he was there, when you were there. But out of all those kids, who can you say probably was your, you know, the best player that you had? That's we're going to AAU too.
Wow.
Or give me your top 5. Cause I got my top 5 from you, and I just want to know what's right there with you.
I couldn't even do it, but I'll tell you some guys that played in our organization that gave like every single ounce. So they may not have been the best player per se, but they gave every single ounce every time they stepped on the floor, and they made impacts.
Okay. Some guys, your name?
Keith Watkins,
Yes.
ended up playing football for Northwestern. He just got married a year or 2 ago. But Keith was one of those guys. Jeff Larkin, my son Ricardo, Mike Barty,
Yes.
that went to Summit. He was one of those guys that always like just gave you everything. Devin Williams.
Yes.
Dev was Dev. I'll tell you a quick story about Devin. We were ready to play in the state championship. And I would pick him up and I would tell him like, hey, they knew like I'm a disciplinarian. I've always been that I'm gonna be. We got practice. Say we were practicing Wind Terrace and practice at 6 o'clock. So I'll tell him I'm gonna be at your house and I'll give him an odd time. I'll be there. You better be ready outside on the porch at 5:43. And I'll always give him an odd time. And then if he's not there, I leave. So it's the day before we play the state finals.
How did it turn out?
Yeah, and I'm there, and it's 5:43, and he's not on the porch, so I take off. I see him. I'm coming up to the stop sign. I see him in my rearview mirror, running, Coach Ricardo, yelling, and I'm like, nah. So I drove on up to Wind Terrace, got to practice. I was like, yo, we gonna have to do it out there. We missing practice today. Blah blah blah. You know, the team, we had a good practice. Middle of practice, Dev come walking in, and I'm like, how'd you get here? He's like, I walked. I said, let's go. And I knew we was gonna win the game. And I knew that kid, and he's still playing professional basketball, but I knew that kid had it. You know, from that moment, man. I'm like, that dude wants it. You know what I'm saying?
So it takes some time, a little bit of dedication, and a little bit of motivation, and you get what you want out of the situation.
Right.
Well, I know most of the players you have and what you bring to the table, and I always talk and you know, watching you over the time, hated when you was at Cape, and I was like, yeah, that's my big brother out there playing against Shannon and Seven, Castleberry and them, and you would you was just so tough, and I look at all your players that you had, and they're just an extension of you. And I know what you was talking about. We always talk basketball because you know I've always tried to go back and mimic you because y'all would never let us play Sawyer. You know, we would always have to wait till the second time to play. We could never get that first run in the gym. And when we got older and we started talking, you started telling me how you had to have your guards be an extension of the coach. So what do you bring, like coming from like where you came from, like from Aiken and Warner Hills, and now that you're out in Indian Hill, your second year or whatsoever, how have they, you know, overturned that and they able to compete and go about it? You know,
I'm glad you brought that up because, like, I've always had that never say die attitude. Right? I remember instilling that in my son's team when he was in 3rd grade. We were down. We were playing. I wouldn't say the name of the team. I don't want to embarrass y'all, but we were down by 9. It's 38 seconds to go in the state championship. For AAU back when AAU state championship mattered. For 3rd grade. Anyway, we down 9, 38 seconds to go. Other team, he made a sub, and they over there hugging, high-fiving the coaches. And on timeout, I'm over here like, yo, it's not over. And we gonna win this game. Just kept saying it. We start fouling, they start missing free throws. We hit a few shots. Next thing you know, we won. Never forget, we down. Hold on, man, that's Beyonce. We down 9 with 30 seconds and come back and win. And from that moment, like I knew, like that passion, you putting it in. So all those guys came up and played collegiately and are successful. But now, and I try to instill that in all my teams. So that's how we play. That's how we practice. We're gonna go hard, and it's never over. So last night we were actually in the scrimmage, and we down double digits and came back the last couple minutes and hit a 3 to win it. But we, congratulations. Thanks. My teams are just not gonna give up. To beat us, you can beat us, but you gonna work your butt off to beat it. Okay. So we're not giving you anything.
As you should.
with that being said, Coach, all the things you're doing on the court, I have to go a little bit off the court now, okay? Now, maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago, Madisonville revamped old Stewart Park, glass backboards, new basketball court. Now, you were a big part of that. You were a big part of that, and bringing back basketball over in that area whatsoever, because we had some great players from over there. They just, dedicated Lewis Moore Street from over there, and then you got the Pilgrims, and you got a whole lot of Jeff Rogers and all those guys. What did that mean to you when you see that? Because when we used to come up and play at High Park, we didn't have anything like that.
So I got a real good connection with Coca-Cola, and they do a lot of community stuff throughout the country. opportunity, and you gotta do something to make your team win. Because if you lose, you gonna sit. So them older dudes, they wouldn't give me the ball or whatever, and then after they saw I could play, that they taught me how to play, and then I wasn't a liability out there. I was helping them win, and so now, it just taught like young blood. They say young blood.
Yeah.
Yo, go take that shot, man.
Yeah.
You can't take that shot. The last point, it can be 14, you going to 15. That last point gonna take 30 minutes. And the right person on your team better take that shot, or you gonna sit for an hour until your time come back up. So it really taught me to have a high IQ for the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think is missing in our youth today. That IQ part, because even when they fail, all right, it's okay. Get back out there. You playing in. Well, no, back then you failed.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over. You gotta wait an hour. Come on, man, it's over. And so I wanted to bring that street ball mentality back. So I got a league that's a street ball league that we have about 100 kids in it for the past 7 years, and so we moved it out there to the body armor course. And thank God it's a blessing for body armor to do that. And we gonna try to do it now. We're trying to do it now.
We'll be there. If you have any information, you can give that out to people. Let them know how they can get in contact with you or sign up or whatsoever. That'd be great. But as you said that about being out there on the course of Al's Nest, I happened to run into an older gentleman that I couldn't believe it was him. But the first person that he asked, he said, "How's young Looney doing?" Old man John.
That's funny.
Old man John. And I know Old man John was one of those guys that gave us an opportunity when we was younger or whatsoever. Because he played, I want him. I like the way he played or whatsoever. But
that's fine. That's good stuff.
But it's great. It's great to see you, and I'm glad you got an Indian Hill getting another opportunity. I was proud for you when you left Aiken and got the opportunity to come and coach at One Hill because you were close to home too. So that was great. But now that you're at Indian Hill your second year, you're playing in the tough CHL. Deer Park is down, Granny was down. Taylor's Taylor whatsoever. I think most of your competition is still the Cowboys over there.
Wyoming, man. They got a great program. They do a good job. They got some young guys, man.
Right.
They had all freshmen last year. They do late.
So, what are your team goals this year?
So, obviously we want to win, and like every year, like everybody in the state, we want to win state. We want to do this, and I kind of got out of that. Although I want to win it all, I want to win every game. Like every single game. I think we go to California, we play Modern Day.
Ooh.
I want to beat Modern Day. So I mean, and I'm gonna go in there with a plan to beat them. So I want to win every single game. But I think over the years, I settled down where my goals, only one team can win state in each division. So does that mean that your season is a failure if you didn't? And I don't think so. So my philosophy kind of changed over the years. Although I want to win every single game, my philosophy is I want to make sure that my team is the best version it can be at the end of this. Okay. So that's what my goal is. To have my team being its best version at the end of the year. So whether we win or lose it, we gonna leave it all out there. We're gonna have the best version, and we can all say, you know what, we gave it everything. And I think that's a more realistic goal than just saying, hey, I want to, because I'm a competitor, man. You would never ever, and I still think I'm the best shooter in the world. And I'm serious. As you should. And so I think I'm gonna win every time I step on the floor. But you gotta have goals where it's not just about winning and losing. It's about winning and losing in life.
Okay. With you being out here in Braves country or whatsoever, and with the basketball team, are there any players that our viewers and stuff to keep an eye on, other than, when we're out here, because we'll be covering the Braves this year. Tell me about it.
Oh man, we got a pretty diverse team. We got a guy, CJ Hayden, who was all district last year, 6'7", crazy athletic. He's coming off ACL surgery, so we should have him probably at the beginning of the season or the beginning of the year. But he's definitely one to look out for. Then we got 8 seniors. So we should have a pretty good, solid team. But some of the guys, we got Zach Jones, who shoots the mess out of the ball. We got Colton Smith, who's 6'6", 6'7". So we got good length. We got a sophomore, 6'6", William Bennett. We have a couple guards, Shep Ward and John Pottergill, that are seniors. We got a kid that's going to Xavier for soccer. That's an incredible athlete. His name Charlie Isfordine. We got Noah Frazier. That's a pretty. I mean, we got a really good team, man. I got Eli Riggs, who his sister plays D1 for Furman. He's a senior, about 6'5", player who was all district in football, middle linebacker. We got a couple of freshmen, Devin Daniel, that made varsity. Ethan Cole, both of them guys played varsity football and was catalyst on that team. I mean, I think we got a really good shot to make some noise.
When you guys first heard it, Ricardo Hill, head boys basketball coach of Indian Hill basketball.
Hill.
Yes, sir.
You heard it first from him. You heard it first from Hall of Fame JB or Carl Paul.
Yeah.
You're listening to the coaches, commentators, and players. Hall of Fame JB.
And I'm Carl, and this is Coach Hill.
E-Town for life, baby.
We out. Peace.